My fiancé said, "If you loved me, you'd pay for my parents' mortgage." I just nodded. Then I canceled the wedding. 72 hours later, her entire family showed up at my office. Either to male, Michael, I'm a project manager. My life is built on Gantt charts, risk assessments, and 5-year plans. I thought my relationship with Jennifer, 29, was the most successful project of my life. We were 4 months from the wedding. I see now that I assessed the risks all wrong. The foundation was rotten from the start. I'd ignored the smaller scope creeps. Her parents, Robert and Patricia, constantly joking about the vacations I'd be taking them on. Jennifer's insistence on upgrading the engagement ring I'd saved for to something more on par with her friends. I paid. I saw it as an investment in our shared happiness. A rounding error in the budget of a lifetime. The final impossible demand came last Tuesday over pasta. She brought up her parents' financial troubles. They might lose the house, she said, her voice a perfect blend of concern and helplessness. She placed her hand on mine, and I was thinking, you're so smart with money. If you really loved me, you'd just pay off their mortgage. Think of it as an early wedding present to me. If you loved me, it wasn't a question. It was an invoice. The entire project plan for my life with her, the partnership, the family, the future, was suddenly revealed to be a hostile takeover. I wasn't a partner, I was the funding. I didn't explode. My mind doesn't work that way. When a project is doomed, you don't scream at the blueprints, you execute a controlled demolition. I looked at her, pulled my hand away, and gave a slow, deliberate nod. I understand, I said. Relief washed over her face. She'd secured the financing. Thank you, baby, she beamed. The drive home was silent. The shock wore off, replaced by a cold, quiet rage. I got to my apartment, and the demolition began. I opened my laptop. Venue, caterer, photographer, band. One by one, I called and canceled everything. I ate thousands in deposits. With each cancellation email I sent, I felt the pressure in my chest release. By 3 a.m., our wedding was nothing but a series of journal entries in my credit card statement. I sent a final, simple text to Jennifer. Jennifer, the wedding is off. I will not be paying your parents' mortgage. This is not the partnership I want. I will arrange to have the ring collected. I wish you the best. I blocked her, her parents, her sister. Then I opened a new spreadsheet. Project Jennifer, final accounting. I began to itemize everything. I knew the fallout would be significant. I just didn't expect the first wave of it to hit me at work. Update 1. The office confrontation was as ugly as I'd anticipated. James from security buzzed me saying a family delegation was in the lobby causing a scene. I told him not to let them up and texted my boss Mary. Personal issue in the lobby. Apologies for any disruption. Handling it. Downstairs, it was pure theater. Jennifer was performing a one-act play of a heartbroken victim. Patricia was dabbing at dry eyes. Robert was beet red, ready to blow. Michael, he bellowed. You don't end an engagement over a text. You will fix this. This is my workplace, Robert, I said, my voice low. This conversation is not happening here. You humiliated my daughter, Patricia chimed in, her voice rising. You break her heart because you're too cheap to help her family when they need it? It was a public shaming campaign. They thought I'd fold. My decision is final, I said, looking at Jennifer. This is over. Just then, Mary, my boss, arrived. She's tiny but radiates authority. Is there a problem? She asked coolly. Robert tried to puff out his chest. This is a private matter. It became my business when you started yelling in my lobby, she replied. Leave now, or I will have you removed for trespassing. They left, sputtering, defeated for the moment. But I knew this was just the pre-game show. The smear campaign started online within days, led by her sister, Linda. Vague posts about a monster fiancé who emotionally and financially abused her sister. I decided it was time to provide them with some context. My spreadsheet was now meticulous. I converted it to a PDF, a clear, itemized list of over $38,000 in non-communal expenses, loans, and gifts I had covered over 2 years. I emailed it to all of them with a simple note. In the interest of clarity, here's the context for my decision. This is not a bill. It is a record. I consider this matter closed. Then I went to see a lawyer. The news was mixed. The ring. Legally, it was a conditional gift. I could sue for its return in small claims court. That was the good news. The car. This was the bad news. The car I'd co-signed for last year for Jennifer. I asked about getting my name removed. My lawyer just shook his head. You're on the hook, Michael. The contract is with the lender, not with Jennifer. Your agreement with her was based on trust. The bank doesn't care about trust. They care about getting their money. A flash of hot, stupid anger went through me, not at them, but at myself. I, the planner, had made the most amateur mistake possible. I had signed my name to someone else's liability. I was stuck. The feeling of being trapped was worse than losing the deposits. My lawyer said, if she defaults, you'll have to pay to protect your credit, and then you can sue her for what you paid. It's a long, messy road. So no clean break, no simple revenge. This was going to be a war of attrition. I instructed my lawyer to file the small claims suit for the ring. That, at least, was a battle I could win. Update 2. The past few months have been a slow, ugly grind. My quiet, methodical response had pushed them into a frantic, sloppy corner. The dirty tricks started. Pizzas delivered to my apartment. I was signed up for dozens of spammy mailing lists. Then came the call to my office. Someone claiming to be from a collection agency told the receptionist I was under a fraud investigation. Mary put a stop to it and had the number blocked, but the message was clear. They were trying to attack my professional reputation. I didn't need proof to know who it was. That was the final push I needed to see this through, to the absolute end. The ring. They ignored the initial summons, of course. They probably thought I'd drop it. We finally got a court date set. Their lawyer filed a response claiming extreme emotional distress and that the ring was a simple gift. The legal back and forth was slow and infuriating. The social media war, Linda's campaign continued. She and Jennifer posted filtered, teary-eyed selfies talking about surviving narcissistic abuse and rebuilding after betrayal. They were creating a narrative where they were the brave victims. A few mutual friends bought it. Most just went silent, waiting to see how it would play out. The car, the grinding reality. I was stuck. Every month I checked my bank account, dreading the day I'd have to make a payment on her crossover SUV. It felt like a chain around my neck. This wasn't a satisfying revenge plot. It was a real, tangible consequence of my own poor judgment. There was no brilliant move to make here, only the grim reality of waiting for the inevitable. My lawyer's words echoed in my head. A long, messy road. The pressure was clearly getting to them too. Robert called me once, his voice a strained whisper instead of a boom. Just drop the suit for the ring, Michael. For God's sake. People are talking. You're ruining us over a piece of metal. You should have thought of that when you demanded I pay your mortgage, Robert, I said and hung up. He sounded like a man drowning. I wasn't going to throw him a life raft. I was going to let the current of his own making pull him under. The court date for the ring is finally set for next month. The financial pressure is mounting. This isn't a clean, swift victory. It's a siege, and I was prepared to wait them out. Final update. It took almost a year of legal fees, petty harassment, and gnawing frustration. But it's over. The courtroom. The day in small claims court was as pathetic as I'd imagined. Their lawyer argued emotionally about my cruelty. My lawyer, a shark named William, was surgical. When he introduced the Jennifer expense report, their lawyer immediately objected. Your Honor, this is a self-serving document created in malice. The judge nodded. Objection sustained as to the monetary claims. This is not a suit to collect on this list. Then he looked at William. Counselor, where are you going with this? Motive, Your Honor, William said smoothly. This document provides essential context. It demonstrates a clear pattern of financial expectation that culminated in a demand for a six-figure mortgage payoff. That demand is what directly and immediately led to the end of the engagement, making the return of the conditional gift, the ring, a legal necessity. He didn't need the spreadsheet to be a bill. He just needed it to be a believable story. And it was. The judge ruled in my favor. Jennifer and her parents were jointly ordered to pay me the appraised value of the ring, $22,000. The dominoes. That judgment was the first real domino. They didn't have $22,000. They ignored the order for 2 months. So William began the process of placing a legal lien on Robert and Patricia's house. This, combined with their already precarious finances, was the tipping point. The lien scared their mortgage lender. Suddenly, they were under a microscope. And that's when Jennifer missed a payment on her car. The first default notice came to my email as the cosigner. My credit score took an immediate, painful hit. It was a real consequence for me, and I cursed myself again. As per my lawyer's plan, I made the payment to stop the bleeding. Then I immediately filed a suit against Jennifer for that payment amount. I sent her a copy of the filing with a note. This will happen every single time. Every month you are late, I will pay, and I will sue you for the amount, plus legal fees. We will be in court for the next 4 years. It was a threat of 1,000 paper cuts. She defaulted again the next month. The car was repossessed. The final domino was the house. With the lien on their property, a repossessed car tied to their daughter, and no hope of a bailout, they were done. The for sale sign went up 3 months ago. They sold it for a loss just to get out from under the debt and the lien. I went on that trip to Southeast Asia last month. Alone. It wasn't triumphant, it was just quiet. I thought about the past year, the legal fees I had to pay, the hit my credit took, the sheer draining ugliness of it all. It wasn't a clean victory. It was a messy, expensive extraction from a life that would have destroyed me. I heard through a friend that Linda moved her parents into a small apartment an hour away. Jennifer is jobless and living with them. I don't feel happy. I feel excavated. Lighter. The sadness for the woman I thought I loved is still there, a faint scar. But it's overwhelmed by the profound relief of freedom. I didn't destroy them. I just stopped being their foundation, and they collapsed, as a house with no foundation does. My next 5-year plan is much simpler now, and it is entirely my own.